I think the biggest thing is time. How much time do you have to analyze what's out there to invest in? I think typically most young people, it's probably at the lower end of the scale of importance. You're out doing a lot of other things. So I would take advantage of those advisors that your company probably will provide you. If you do have a lot of time, certainly you could do that on your own. I'm more the advisor type. I would go out and engage somebody like Liz's firm, or I would use somebody that the company has provided in general.
So for me, I have a pretty practical approach to this, I think. For IRAs, simple IRAs or 401ks, things like that, I let somebody else handle that basically for me. But I want to be actively involved in other kind of different investments. So real estate's one that interests me. So buying rental properties and renting that to residential customers or commercial customers or something like that. That's something for me that I can apply an engineering mind to and make sense of a business basically. Because if you're buying a rental property, you're essentially creating your own small business. You have incomes, you have expenses, and you can forecast that out. You want to know how much demand there is for your product, which in this case is potentially a rental property. And so that's something that I've taken a much more active approach in managing. I actively manage real estate properties for myself and my wife. She's very heavily involved in this too. But that's something that I think is an opportunity for young people to get involved in. If you said probably not something you're going to take advantage of in the first couple of years after graduation, but even buying a house or buying a condo or buying a townhouse or something like that, and renting a room to one of your friends, that can be a really, really good start into owning a property and having somebody else pay the majority of your mortgage for you. That's something that is, for me, a very interesting opportunity. So yeah, that would be where I would spend active management personally doing that.
Yeah, I would echo that. I bought rental property before I bought my own personal property. I probably had rental property for 10 years before I bought my first house. And it actually did very well. But getting back to the investment question, there are these things called investment clubs that are sponsored by this national organization called the National Association of Investment Clubs, or NIAC. And many companies have these private clubs. People get together outside of business. They meet once a month. They pool $50, $100 per month into a common fund. They follow the protocol that's specified by this investment club, and they make decisions on what they're going to buy, what they're going to sell, what they're going to hold every month. And that way they pool their information, they pool their knowledge, and often the people that belong to these clubs, for example, in the company where I started, they were people that ended up as vice presidents because they just had an interest in the money side of the business. And so I would encourage you to look for those types of clubs wherever you start working, or start one while you're here at school.
The other thing to think about is potentially the robo-advisors, which is a robotic advisor. And I honestly really don't know much about this space because I basically am a competition for a robo-advisor. I'm honestly just more expensive. A lot more expensive. However, I would go with his thought on your 401k is going to provide someone. So definitely use that resource. As your investable assets start to increase, that may be an opportunity for a robo-advisor to at least start to think about it, and then potentially use a individual. It just kind of depends upon how you want to spend your time. Like I tell my clients, do you want to mow your lawn? Maybe you don't have time to mow your lawn, so you hire someone to mow your lawn. It's kind of similar, but definitely take the time now to start to educate yourself. Like even just getting Money Magazine, which is like really just personal finance. Like I look back at myself like leaving college, and I really, like, I never spent the time to learn those things, and it really meant that when I went to grad school, I really had to pound hard the books on those things. And I think just trying to become aware of it. Like I have clients that literally have no idea about what goes on in the market at all, and it's very odd to me. Like I don't understand like how you have like no idea. And you need to be able, and the only way that you can hire someone is if you at least can like somewhat communicate that language. So take the time to start to just read about it. And definitely when you go out to get an advisor, like make sure that they're willing to sit down and talk to you and hold your hand and explain everything you could ever possibly want to know about the financial markets.